How many of you know somebody who's half black? How about somebody who's half Asian? Half something else. I'm talking about people who are, mixed race. One parent something, one parent something else. I think talking about race is fine. I'm willing to talk about it all the time. I think being race aware is actually a more advanced state than being race unaware or unable to distinguish between various races or pick out what race a person might be at a glance. I think that's a skill not everybody has. So yeah, I consider myself race aware, but I suspect most of you answered yes to the initial questions, and I also contend most of you are racist. Well, what do you mean? How would be racist? Why are we racist? You just said it was okay to be race aware or be able to, distinguish between races or point out or discuss what genetics someone might be. That's because the way I've heard, terms like half black or half something else usually used is to mean half white. And just the other day, somebody was trying to explain someone to me, like, oh, I think she's half, Filipino or something. Maybe he said, some other Asian ethnicity. Even distinguishing, down, within a race to a particular ethnic group. And I said, well, so the other half's black? He said, no, the other half's white. What do you mean? And I've had that happen a lot. People that, instead of referring to someone as half white, they refer to someone as half black. And I say, well, what do you mean half black? What's the other half? Well, white, of course, they say, outrage, shocked that you would ask, And the fact that they consider white to be regular or plain or some sort of starting point is why I contend they are racist. And I've had these conversations many times. Now, some of you probably know someone who's half black, half Asian, half, Indian, half Indonesian, something, I don't know, right? But, half Native American, half Asian, half Native American, half black, I don't know, something, right? But a lot of people, when they say half blank, what they really mean is half white, right? And I have to assume some of you that answered yes to the initial questions were among that group. Now, so I'm here to straighten you out. If you consider the part of them that's not genetically European to be somehow novel or noteworthy, that's when I contend that you're racist, right? Are all of you? Yeah, perhaps not, but certainly I've talked to people recently that didn't consider the white in someone's genetic makeup or the European in someone's genetic makeup to be significant because, that's assumed, right? And that's what I find offensive, the fact that you consider white to be, some kind of the main kind or something is like shockingly offensive, is it not? I mean, I would assume most of you listening to agree. Even those of you who consider someone to be half white and half black to be primarily half black, and that's how you describe him. How many of you have said, oh, that one guy, he goes to the gym and works out? Yeah, the guy, he's like half white, that dude. How many of you ever said that? And when I've asked people that referred to someone who's half white as half something else, why do you just refer to him as half white? They said, well, you wouldn't have known what I was talking about. What do you mean? Can you even picture what someone looks like if they're half white? It's outrage. White, is a starting point in the same way vanilla ice cream is, which I find offensive. Now, it's obviously much more offensive when you talk about people, but this fact that vanilla is plain or a starting point is totally offensive. Taste vanilla extract. It has a taste, it has a flavor, very strongly flavors food that is put in if you put enough of it in. It can fit into an ensemble of flavors, a tiny bit of that mixed in with like 20 other tastes. Yeah, maybe it'll go well, but in something like vanilla ice cream, it's overpowering. Why is plain yogurt and vanilla yogurt both sold? Does vanilla not have a taste? Do you make chocolate yogurt by getting vanilla yogurt and adding chocolate, or do you get plain yogurt and add chocolate? Why would you include that vanilla? So, obviously talking about vanilla as being not a flavor, or not something that counts, it's just regular, or, plain, a starting point, is obviously nowhere near as shocking or offensive as referring to, a certain race or genetic profile in that way. Because, you're talking about people, always a hot button topic, right? But, I still find it very, analogous and very similar, Vanilla is a flavor. It has a taste. European is, a race. I mean, you can call it white or, use some slur, if you will, however you want to refer to it. But, there's genetic makeup, one of these, genetic decoding services can pick out, oh, this part of your ancestry is European. These are European, genetic codes here. It does exist. It's not a default. It's not like everyone just has that and starts with that and you add other things. That's where the vanilla analogy is exactly accurate. Strawberry with vanilla in it. The vanilla taste totally ruins, a strawberry yogurt, a strawberry ice cream, doesn't it? And so it's the same way with, I don't contend any particular ancestry ruins a person, but, white ancestry from Europe does exist. It's not just nothing. It's not that's not there. It's plain. And then if you're half black, you're half black and half, the obvious. Well, what do you mean obvious? Why would anyone, automatically be white or European? So anyway, just throwing that out there, just setting some of you straight that didn't think of yourself as being racist. We weren't trying to offend. Probably anyone likely to be in my audience isn't, openly bigoted or doesn't think of themselves as that, of course. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, but I assume so, but nevertheless, things like that slip out that say, oh, wait a minute, they call the, Native American half or the Asian half or whatever this guy's ancestry significant. That's noteworthy. That stands out. The white is just sort of a given, right? Is that what you thought? And if so, you have a chance now to correct your ways. You're trying to describe someone they can't figure out, maybe it's a common name, Steve or Jennifer or something. No, the other one. The other one, the one that's half white. Throw that out there, see if you can straighten out in that sense. And thanks for listening. This is The Way of Life.